I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA.
What it do? Is DOA back with another episode of Putting Shit Together. Today, man, we talking about EriKa, KirK, and Candace Owens, man. Kind of like birds of a feather for real. Two useful idiots is what I call them. But before I get too deep into it, man, we gonna watch a couple of little videos some other people put together about EriKa, KirK, and Candace Owens. Get into this. To cut that audio. But yeah, this is how people saying she came into the memorial like a damn superstar. You know what I'm saying? After your husband just got shot, you coming in the memorial like Iron Man, like Michael Jackson popping out the stage and shit. You know what I'm saying? Sparkles and shit flying, smoke clear, and EriKa, KirK. Right after your man just got shot in the neck. But the thing is, man, I'm sure y'all done seen a lot of the videos surrounding that shooting. For one, there was no blood. There was little to no blood. And for two, they claimed that the weapon of choice was a 30-06. Now, I briefly touched on the other points surrounding that rifle and why you could already tell that it wasn't the way that they said that it didn't go the way that they claimed that it went. They said the dude on the roof took that one shot. They say he had the rifle in his backpack or he had it in his pant leg. Then after the shot, he took it apart, put it in his backpack. That was their explanation, because when you saw the video of him jumping off that roof, you didn't see the rifle in his hand, and we definitely know he didn't have a fully assembled rifle stuck in his pant leg because his knees bent when he hit the ground. He would have been injured if he jumped down there with a rifle stuck in his pant leg, jumped off of a 2-story building or a 1-story building and landed like that with a rifle up your pants leg. Then I told y'all that you can't break that type of rifle down without a workbench. You need a vise or something to get the barrel apart. You could take the scope off of it. The scope was on it. But to get that barrel apart and get the rifle down to the size where you could put it in the backpack that we saw him have on, it just wasn't possible. So we know he wasn't the shooter, just based off of that. Or maybe the shot was never taken. But this is another thing, man. If I wanted to arrange some type of conspiracy, Utah would probably be at least in the top 5 places to do it at, because the towns are weird. Like I've been to Utah and it was weird. It was a cool trip for what I was doing, but I did notice how everybody in the city seemed to be all on one accord. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like they all kind of knew each other, and they like kind of robotic with the church. I guess the Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, is out there having like supreme control over the people. So, you know, if I wanted a whole bunch of people to be in on some type of staged event, Utah would be probably at the top of my list of places to do it at. So that's another thing. The other thing being, when something gets hit in the neck, man, with these arteries, all those major arteries and things running through your neck, like blood's gonna be everywhere. You know, Charlie Kirk was sitting in front of a poster that was white. I think his shirt might have even been white. When they alleged that he was shot in the neck, man, it would have been a horror scene. Then the 30-06 bullet is so big, like, man, my pops hunt with a 30-06. And I could tell you that joint do damage. I mean, serious damage to a deer, it can go in one side and out the other. And when it comes out the other side, it usually comes out in a very destructive nature. It goes in single point, but it kind of comes out fragmented oftentimes, or, you know, depending on the type of shell that you got. But most of the time, it's going to come out a lot more aggressively than it went in. So if you get hit in the neck, you got pencil neck Charlie KirK, man, that would have pretty much blew his head off. You know what I'm saying? If he got hit in the neck with a 30-06 bullet, we would have probably seen his head roll down the stage, you know. But, of course, that didn't happen. They hauled him off into a SUV in which you didn't see any blood leaking. The people that initially checked on him when he fell back on the stage didn't have no blood on their hands. Like, that's just, it's not possible when you get shot in the neck with a 30-06. That blood is going to be aggressive, man. You know what I'm saying? So it had the signs of a setup apparent from the very beginning. And then we going to look at EriKa KirK and Candace Owens, how they speaking on how they met their husbands, because I, for one, and this is just my opinion, but it feels like EriKa KirK was selected to be in this position as Charlie KirK's wife. And some of y'all might have heard, but EriKa KirK, she won Miss Arizona. She's from the Phoenix area, like Scottsdale or whatever. But they say that Donald Trump told her to run, and it was one of Donald Trump's pageants that she won this Miss Arizona in. Now, to me, she's a Cabbage Patch head ass white girl with some light eyes. She don't really look like much, if you ask me. I mean, some people like, she's fucking hot, bro. I mean, if that's you, that's you. But she don't look fucking hot, bro, to me. She look pretty smegular, especially in the realms of beauty pageant contestants. But they say that Donald Trump is the one who told her to run. And, of course, it being Donald Trump's pageant, and then she won. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people saw she had on that G, that ring with the G on it. Looked like a Mason type of ring or whatever. And she's probably affiliated with him in some way, if you ask me. But, yeah, just the fact that she won that Miss Arizona pageant from Trump, and then Turning Point was so instrumental in getting Trump elected. Turning Point is also founded by a man who's now passed, but he was like 80 years old. It was like an 80-year-old dude. I think William Graham is his name. Let me pull up my articles on my phone. I had some articles pulled up. But yeah, it's Bill Montgomery. That's who put the money behind Charlie KirK. And he was a business development advisor. Now, the thing is Turning Point itself has been kind of under fire for using some shifty practices. But we're going to get into that after we watch this little video on Candace Owens and EriKa KirK stumbling through how they met their husbands. So here we go.
Obviously, people love to hear the story about how we met. It was a wintry night in London. I was filming a podcast, and you had a friend who was a mutual friend. He and I were supposed to meet up, and he never told me that he had actually organized an entire dinner for me and for Charlie KirK with about 30 people. So I arrived 3 hours late. My assistant informs me that, and I sat next to you. You basically said nothing to me.
First time we actually met was at the RSC Club, Royal Automobile Club in London on Pall Mall, and you were giving a speech, and I think from that moment onwards the connection was made.
You basically said nothing to me.
From that moment onwards the connection was made.
So we're here at Bill's Burgers in New York City, and right near this very table was the first time Dad met Mama.
So we met at the office opening, the Turning Point headquarters office opening, the first one.
It was about 15 minutes in, I quickly pivoted away from wanting to hire her to wanting to date her.
It was like 3.5 hours, and they were starting to close up, and he was finished with his burger, just sat there. And I'm like looking around like, okay, did I get the job?
I want to meet somebody with the same beliefs. I'm like a really big Christian. I'm like... So you wouldn't meet him at church or anything? Just talk.
18 days later,
that's right.
we get engaged.
Her smile, her radiance, I can tell that she's got not only our beauty, but in her beauty, and that's what I'm looking for in a woman.
Obviously, people love to hear the story about how we met. It was a...
So as you can see, they both are giving two different stories. And one, EriKa KirK saying they was at some kind of restaurant. Then they also saying they was at the office opening. Now you at the office opening, then you talking about they was getting ready to close and he was finished his burger. Like, thought y'all was at the office opening. And if it was his office, Turning Point office, and he was giving you an interview, then they not gonna close until Charlie KirK closed the door himself. So once she's at a restaurant and they eating, and then it turns into all this lovey-dovey romance shit. The other one, they at an office opening and he's interviewing her, and it's like, bro, come on, man. This shit was all scripted. And I believe she might have been put in place by possibly Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? They probably organized this for him to make this company big. I believe Bill Montgomery, that donor behind him, probably orchestrated this shit from the jump. We gonna use this young boy because Charlie KirK was like 18 when he got involved with Bill Montgomery and started the Turning Point. They probably like, we gonna use this young kid to infiltrate onto these college campuses and get this machine rolling, and then we gonna put a hand-selected puppet in there to take over for him because he probably was getting a little bit too, how you say, feeling a little bit too free with the moves that he was gonna make. Now you got Candace Owens, who I already told y'all about, man. Don't trust Candace Owens. Candace Owens said that it was some type of event arranged for her and Charlie KirK, some Turning Point event, because her husband does work in the Turning Point company, the UK branch of Turning Point or whatever. But they said they had something arranged for her and she was supposed to, like, a dinner arranged. Then her husband is saying they was at some type of event where Candace was speaking. So how Candace said she was 3 hours late? You was 3 hours late to a speaking event, a speaking arrangement? How's that work? Then Candace remembers him not saying nothing to her, and this man was like, oh yeah, it was pretty much on from the time we first met. Like, bro, what actually happened? Then they get married, like 18 days later, they getting engaged. Bro, that sound like some arranged shit. And all these Turning Point employees is pairing off. You know what I'm saying? And then Turning Point being one of the most integral parts of President Trump's election. So I think this is given setup from the jump. But right now, Candace Owens is pretty much getting all kinds of publicity post Charlie KirK shooting, and she's acting like she's all tore up about it, and it's this big plot because Charlie KirK was going against the little hat folks, you know what I'm saying? Going against the Church of the Little Hats. And he wanted to be a Catholic. He wanted to join Catholicism, and he was kind of denouncing the little hat people, and that's why they had to take him out, because he was going against the little hat folks, you know what I'm saying? Trying to make it into like Catholicism is the way and the truth, and it's like, bro, come on, man. This to me is ridiculous, man, because these religions, they're all being kind of controlled and ran by the same people. It's a belief that you got some type of choice and one religion is superior to the other religion and all this fantasy, when really in these good books they told people not even to start religions, not to form religions from the teachings of these prophets that they come from. Like Christianity, man, Jesus wasn't no Christian. Christ is a way of life. A Christ is like spiritual alchemy. It's delivering the truth at all costs. That's the way of Christ. It's a way of life. It's not his name. It's really kind of not a title. It encompasses what he did and how he lived. That's Christ. So to say you Christian because you got to believe in this and that and the third and go to church and all of this, man, it's crazy. Catholicism, they praying that the head of Catholicism, Candace Owens, answers to the Pope in the Vatican. Come on, bro. Like, you really think this is a person who's finna bear truth and all of this, and you answer to the Pope, one of the most corrupt individuals we've ever seen. That's the leader of your church. And then they hold Mary as the highest, I guess, person in their religion is Mary, the carrier of Jesus Christ. It's all these religions is crazy, man. They all funneling into the bullshit, and they just want you to believe that one is superior to the other, and it's some type of big religious war we got going on, when really all of them are anti-Christ, because Christ is a certain way of life, and they're in just the fact that they answer to the pastor, the Pope, and all of this, that, and the third in these religions goes against the true teachings of Christ, the true way of life of Christ. The connection is supposed to be direct between you and the higher power, you and the Most High. There is no translator. There is no middleman. God said, I do not dwell in temples that are made by man. Yet we feel like we need to go to church, and I need to go to mass, and I need to go to these buildings in order to, be this uber Christian, this uber Catholic, this uber whatever. And that goes directly against the word of God. The temple is this part of your head. These are the temples. Inside of your brain is the kingdom of God. You see? So really, if we talking antichrist, these religions are like the antichrist, because they work in opposition of the way of Christ, the way of living through this pathway of Christ. They work against that directly, so they would be the Antichrist. You see? So be careful with these religions, man. That's why, like, the christening, you know how they christen babies and they wipe the oil on their forehead, right on their third eye. They wipe that oil because when you're using this metaphysical way of life, like those alchemical steps I made videos on, that's part of the way of living through Christ. That's part of the steps. And when you do this, you raise your energy in such a way that you activate the pituitary and the pineal glands in your brain, and it releases a oil. It releases a oil in this part of your head. So they mimicking all of these things in church, which is the Antichrist. They mimicking this stuff instead of showing you how to actually release it in yourself. And that's pretty much because God told you got a direct connection to him. He can speak to you and through you. So you didn't need a pastor, a building, any of this to have that connection with the Most High. So all of these religions are really a fallacy. They're a trick of the devil, to be honest. If God said, I do not dwell in temples made by man, then what's in there? What's this Holy Ghost that y'all catching when y'all go in there? What's this christening about? What's this communion about? Because God say he don't dwell in them type of buildings. So it must be a different kinds of spirits that's inside of them buildings that is taking hold of these partitioners. You see? So this just, man, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but it's a method in the madness, man. I'm just saying, you got to watch out for these chicks, man. EriKa, KirK, and Candace Owens, they both seem like henchmen to me. They really do. And then these religions and these religious leaders, you got to be wary of them. Candace Owens wants you to believe that this is some type of a religious assassination they got going on with Charlie Kirk. But with your own two eyes, you can see it ain't all that it's meant to be. That 30-06 bullet didn't hit Charlie Kirk's neck, man. Or you would have seen, or that crime scene would have looked a lot different than what it looked like, And it's a lot of people out there with a lot of theories, but I really don't want to get into the theories of what happened, other than we know it's not what it appeared to be. And just that simply will let you know this is some sort of psyop. Then you got Candace Owens, who already was promoting to be this, that, and all of that, and her reenaction of how she even met her husband does not pass the smell test. So it looks like this shit was all through arrangement. It's one big happy Turning Point family. You know what I'm saying? Then Turning Point is supposed to be audited every year, but they're being audited by a business partner of the founder of the company, Bill Montgomery. One of the companies that he worked for is who is auditing them on their taxes, doing the tax audits. So it's all corrupt, man. And they had some Turning Point employees they had to fire because they had messages like, I hate black people, I fucking hate them, I hate all blacks in the story. That's a quote, you know what I'm saying, from a Turning Point, a one-time Turning Point employee, man. And if y'all know, like, the small hat people are impersonating black Americans as the jewels of God. They're impersonating. They're playing a role reversal with the black Americans, man, the true Hebrews. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like all of these organizations are really working in conjunction to throw people off of the real meat and potatoes of the issue, which is that the real Hebrews are not those people in Israel. It's not. But you know, we gonna get into it a little deeper, man. I just wanted to come back because I've been gone for a minute, man. I've been working hard with my business. Had a busy weekend, so busy week and weekend, to be honest. So I ain't been on here making videos, but as always, man, it's a pleasure to have y'all. Like, share, subscribe. It's peace and love, love and light, wisdom and insight, DOA. We're putting shit together. To the next episode, y'all. Peace.